Are you tired of having your camera move on the tripod right after you get it set up for the perfect shot? Kentfaith has the answer. Today we're going to look at the Kentfaith 3-geared tripod head. Let's go. A gear head differs from a traditional ball head, which is what most of us are used to, in a few different ways. The gear head works with a series of gears on 3 different axes, so you can get very precise movement with the geared head. And there are also knobs that you can use that will allow you to move more quickly. So you just turn the knob and you can move freely. Or if you turn the other knobs, the black knobs, you can see that they're going to give you more precise movement. So those are the basic differences between a geared head and a ball head. Let's check out some of the advantages. So I set each of the cameras up on different tripods. First on the ball head, which is the video you're seeing here. You can see how imprecise it is, unprecise. Anyway, it's not very precise. You can see trying to get the shot set up is not very easy and not very straightforward. And then we'll contrast that with this camera setup, which is on the Kentfaith K&F Concepts 3-gear head tripod, and you can see just how much smoother it is and how much more precise the measurements are, the movements are. You can actually get in and dial in your shot very, very well compared to what you might do with the ball head, where there's always some tripod creep. So when you set your shot up, get everything lined up perfectly, you get that shot frame perfectly. Even on the best ball heads, when you tighten it down, it still will creep a bit. So you get that creep and that frame actually will change. So I use this a lot for macro photography, where you need to be very precise. This would also work really well for landscape photographers, where you just need to dial that shot in exactly. So that's the basics of the difference between the geared head and the ball head. What can I say about the build quality? It's a quality product, very well built, CNC machine. It is fairly heavy. I'm going to put the specs on the screen so you can see some of the specs and some of the benefits of this tripod head. But for me, the build quality is just really, really solid. Everything seems to be well made, very polished, looks very nice, as you can see. Just a good, solid, if not maybe slightly heavy tripod head. I want to compare this to a tripod head that I own, which is the Benro tripod head. Benro's a pretty big name. Make great products. I use their, tripod legs, but this particular one doesn't move very easily. The knobs that you turn are okay, but the star-shaped things that you turn to get those fast movements, you can see what happens. They're really hard to catch. Once they do catch, you better hold your camera, because otherwise it's going to go for a bit of a ride. So really the difference between the two, the Kentfaith is so easy. Those knobs that you use for gross movements, so much easier to use, so much easier to turn, and therefore for me, this Kentfaith is going to replace my Benro, even though I did pay for that Benro and it was fairly expensive. I like the Kentfaith more. First, a disclaimer. Kentfaith did send this out to me for review. They haven't reviewed the script and they will not see this video before I put it up, but they did send me the video in exchange for review. That said, this tripod head is definitely going to replace my Benro, like I said, and it's for anybody who needs precise movements. Landscape photographers, certainly. I mentioned macro photography. Macro is one big use for it. I've even used it for bird photography, more for the videography, just to make sure they get a stable tripod head, and this is definitely stable. So if you're in any of those kind of genres, or there's plenty of other places where you could use this. It's just a great built, very solid, fairly inexpensive product. They've provided a link down below to get a 10% or 15% discount. Check the link. But basically, they had offered the link in exchange. Well, with the product, they offered us a link for a discount. So if you use that link, I don't get anything, but you get a discount, and it's just a way for Kentfaith to know that you saw my video and that you like my video. Get out there and have your photo gear fun, and I will talk at you again in the next one.